Hello, guys of United Rock Nations. We are an amazing company with Angelo of Fishbone. How are you?
Man, I'm pretty good, man. I'm having a hell of a good time at Hellfest.
So you are finishing your French tour. So how is it going?
Man, it's been good, man. Everybody keeps reminding me that we've been gone for like 10 or 15 years. That's kind of hard to believe. But I guess so, huh?
So Hellfest is mainly a metal festival,
Yeah, that's right.
and your music sounds more like ska, rock, fusion. How can we expect from your show tonight?
Well, we may not play death metal, and maybe we play a little bit of heavy metal, and we play punk rock. And I got a heavy metal collection of saxophones.
Oh,
So all my heavy metal is saxophones. I got a bass saxophone, baritone, tenor, alto, and soprano. So my heavy metal is powered by brass, right? Brass and woodwinds, right? But the way Fishbone matches up with all of the acts that are here at Hellfest is because we have the power and the passion that the heavy metal and the death metal has. So we got the power and the passion. And most of all, we got soul.
absolutely.
And I don't know about anybody else around here, but we got a special kind of soul. We got black soul. And so with that soul power mixed in with the passion and the rock, oh man, motherfuckers, watch out. We got soul power.
So, oh, sorry. So let's talk a little bit about ska music. You know, on the late 70s and at the beginning of the 80s, there was a wave of ska punk in England with the Selector, the Specials. But after that, nothing. How do you explain that Fishbone will always remain present and active throughout all these years?
Well, actually, it was something after that ska, that first ska wave, the second ska wave. Because the first ska wave was Jamaican ska,
Absolutely.
which came before reggae.
Absolutely.
Right. And then you had the English invasion of ska, which was the second wave,
Second,
right?
absolutely.
And then American ska,
Is the third
what you
wave?
call that, the third wave? So you had the third wave of American ska coming into the picture. But there's also a lot of jazz that's in ska. Ska based is jazz. There's a lot of jazz based within the ska, right? So there's a lot of jazz, man, which is a part of all ska, a big jazz influence, which is like that's some pretty heavy shit too. That's like some heavy intellectual professor
Absolutely.
type of shit,
Yes.
that kind of music, right? So that's one thing I like about ska and reggae and stuff like that. And then with the British invasion of ska, you also had a lot of heavy rock too, like the Sex Pistols and and the Clash, yeah. And so all that British ska, man, mixed in with a lot of rock too. And the Damned, which is the Damned, man, the Damned, and oh man, it's endless. A lot of the British rock, ska invasion, and then of course, when it got to America, man, you had like Bad Brains, the Dead Kennedys.
But all those bands disappeared, and you're still here.
Yeah, is that what it looks like? Is that what happened? Is that what happened? You know what it's like when you So when you say, "Oh, Fishbone is still here," all those other bands disappeared, but you still here. It reminds me of that Twilight Zone episode where the guy goes into the library and he's reading his book and the bomb goes off and he comes out and his his glasses are cracked and he's like, "I'm the only one here, really? Ain't nobody left?" So that's what that reminded me of. But it's still people here, man. Fishbone is still here.
Absolutely.
We ain't never went nowhere. We just had to do some. We had to do a reinvention, man. We had to pull the plug, reinvent, and start it over again. You know, because throughout evolution, everything goes through an evolution, man.
Absolutely.
Even Fishbone. And so whether or not you can survive the evolution, just like the dinosaurs, man, you survive the evolution and then you reinvent yourself and you turn your gas and your petrol into electric, man, you can keep up with the rest of these motherfuckers, man.
So let's talk about music. A few weeks ago, you released a new EP called Fishbone. Why did you call it with the name of the band? Because you are 43 years of career, and just now you publish an album with an EP with the name Fishbone. Why?
Because it's the name of the band.
I know, but sometimes it's the first album.
But yeah, a lot of people don't know about the first album. I mean, a lot of people do. But this generation now,
Yes,
they don't know.
absolutely.
So it's like we're starting over again, in a way. So we start over, call it Fishbone, and behind this new Fishbone, that really ain't gone nowhere. It's a rediscovery. The new generation gets to rediscover why a lot of the bands that are playing what they're playing now, they get to discover why they're playing what they're playing now. They get to meet Uncle Fishbone. And you know, when you're hanging out with your uncle, crazy ass Uncle Fishbone, he got a lot of crazy shit up his sleeve. You know what it's like hanging out with your crazy uncle, right? Okay. Yeah.
So we love a lot all the songs of the EP, but just one song I love a lot is "I Don't Care," probably because it's a more punk rock song of the new EP. Tell us more about this song. I don't care. You don't care anything. You don't care about life.
Well, we do care. You just can't care about what some people think about you sometimes, especially when you might be surrounded with people who don't really have your best interests at heart. They don't really care about how you feel, but you care how you feel. And so you got to believe in yourself,
Absolutely.
even though the people that are around you might not get where you're coming from, and you can't care about that. You have to care about your inner self rather than the people outside of you who might not get where you're coming from.
You don't care about the other people.
Oh, you can care about the other people, of course. It's important to care about other people.
About the fans. About
Yeah, it's important to care about the fans. It's important to care about your mom, your dad,
family, absolutely.
your family. It's even important to care about your enemies. Because if
The
you
enemies
care
also?
about your enemy, then you can learn what your enemy is about. Then you can know how to protect yourself from your enemy. Because you got to be able to understand what your enemy is about. If you don't understand what your enemy is about, your enemy can come and take your life.
Yes, I don't care about my enemies.
I care about being educated about them,
Oh, okay,
but I'm not down with
Yes,
the enemy.
okay, okay.
But I care about being educated about what they are, how they think. So if there's a chess game, if I'm in a chess game with the enemy
See?
and I understand how the enemy thinks,
Yes, you can.
I'll know how to move to the left or to the right or back. But if you don't care about what they think, you could get fucked up. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a different kind of caring.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you are 4 members of the original lineup.
Education, that's what I mean. That's the word I was looking for, education.
You are 4 members of the original lineup still in the band. That sounds amazing. How do you explain that longevity together, all the 4 members from the beginning to now?
How do I explain the longevity of the original members being together
Yes,
now?
for 43 years.
Well, the music that we put out in the past, and the fans that it has created, the familyhood that it has created. So we've created a legacy and a belief system and just a somewhat kind of like a religion, man, almost like a cult religion. And so that has kept us together. So even when some of us didn't believe in it anymore and we quit, and we got new members in because they believed it to carry us over that bridge, right? Some of them were fans before they were in the band. You got to be a special fan to be in the band. And so that's what's kept us going. A lot of the fans and the seeds that we planted out there, and now that the seeds have grown up into a tree and they got the fruit coming down, now we can eat from the fruit that's coming. But and then again, and not only the fruit, but the roots, which are, they spread out wider than the tree does, all underground. And so, you know, this Hellfest thing is like a big underground subculture, right? It's got a lot of roots going on. Yeah, and so that's roots, man. The roots are important. That's what's kept us together too, a lot of our roots.
What are your plans for next year? New album probably, still touring. What are your plans for 2024?
Hopefully God, whatever you believe God to be, will give us another reason to create more music and more magic for the people who believe in us, and for the band, for us to believe in us as well. Yeah.
Because the music industry is different from the one there was on 17/9 when you begin in. When you begin
now, man, it's different now. You know, we finally got our rights back.
Oh.
That contract that we signed with Sony, man, we finally got our rights back, man. We finally got our music back. You know, after 30 years, you get yourself a 5-year window to get your masters back. Of course, there's going to be people in the record company that want to talk you out of that. But for those of you artists who have signed that contract that said perpetuity in it, which means forever, don't nobody really think about that shit until after they sign it. They sign their life away. Right? They sign their music and their soul, because your music is your soul. So I've had to learn, Fishbone has had to learn that the hard way, because we didn't know about that when we was younger. And we finally got our soul back somewhat. We lost a big part of it, but not all of it, because we still here.
And that's great.
Yeah, so you know, you always want to be able to have yourself a lawyer or somebody who has your best interests at heart to read through that contract, because sometimes the people at the record company, they don't have your best interests at heart. They just want your soul. And sometimes they'll put your soul out there so the people can see it and hear it and buy your record, which is good. But what if they forget about your soul? What if they forget about you? Because they see another group that can bring in more money.
Exactly, absolutely, yes.
That's when you need to be able to take your soul and your business into your own hands, like I do. Or somebody who gives a shit about you, like Fat Mike. Fat Mike gave a shit enough to put us out there.
Okay, so thank you very much for all these informations about you, about the band. Buy the new EP, Fishbone. It's amazing. And we will be there tonight to see you in front of the war zone, because we love a lot Fishbone. Thank you very much for all this music and for your soul. It's fantastic.
Thank you, man.
Thank you very much.
All right.
Bye.
Okay, this is Angelo here from Fishbone Soldier #1 for United Rock Nations. Enjoy.